Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Today, as always, I have a general reading for you, and as always with a general reading, only take what resonates and leave the rest. It is a timeless message and can be past, present or future depending on where you're at on your healing journey. Spirit will always guide you to a message that you need to hear exactly when you need to hear it. For the ease of channeling, I am going to use the pronouns he, she, but by all means swap them out if they don't resonate for you, okay? Okay, so I feel like somebody's panicking, okay, and the cracks are starting to show. The cracks are starting to show. Someone's panicking. I can see someone sweating. You know when you go into this, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced it before, but when you're like really panicking or you're really nervous about something and you start to get really sweaty, that's what I'm seeing. And the sweat just dripping down someone's face, down their body. They're really panicking. They're really panicking. I can see a clock. Time's running out. Time's run out. I've just split the deck, I think, twice. Because I'm hearing second chance. Somebody wants another chance. Somebody wants to try and fix something. Somebody wants to try and fix something. Time's running out. They want to try and fix something before time runs out. We have Earth Dragon. Clears your path and the land around you. Stay grounded. Be ready to serve. Stay stuck. Energy is clearing. You can move forward in life. Yeah, this person's panicking. They're running around. Not literally, but symbolically. They're like a headless chicken. Back and forth over how to fix something before time runs out. Time's already run out. Someone's panicking over how calm and collected you are. Why aren't you panicking? Why aren't you panicking? Why are you so calm? Why are you so still? Someone's panicking over because you're quiet. You're not saying anything. It's not affecting you in the way it's affecting them. It feels to me like there's a person or a group of people who, to start off with, were like, I'm getting this really cocky energy, really smug energy of they weren't affected by something that you were doing. You were quite, okay, you went quiet. You may be an earth sign, okay, that may be relevant. Or Aries, with the horns, I'm seeing Aries. Somebody was really cocky, really smug when you went quiet, okay? They saw that as a win. They thought it's because you were more affected and that you were just trying to it's something to do with you isolating yourself. They thought you'd isolated yourself because you were hurt. You were more affected by somebody tried to do something to you. And they thought they'd been successful because you went quiet, you went into like a hermit mode and you said nothing. So they were smug, they were confident that you were more affected than they were. What they're now realising, the table has completely flipped, okay? And they're starting to panic because they're realising, actually, you weren't affected in the way they thought you were by what they were doing. And actually, they're the ones that were more affected by it than they were letting on. Does that make sense? So they started off all cocky, all smug, like they've got this in the bag, is what I'm hearing. Got it in the bag. Don't worry. They'll come running. They'll come back. We'll have them back under control, basically. It'll be okay. We'll be able to come back. It will sweep it all under the carpet. It will be fine. But there's something to do with time. Something to do with, like, people placing bets on how long it would take you to come back, or how long it would take for the cracks to show in you, and you're not showing any. This has been like, this has been going on for a while. You've been silent for some time. Maybe somebody thought that there would be cracks in your relationship as well. This could be to do with a partner. Something to do with people have been looking for the cracks to show in your relationship, not believing that your relationship is as solid and as grounded as you've been making out. But joke's on them, because it is. The table's completely flipped. And now, because you're still silent, this feels to me like it's gone on for a few years or more. You're still silent, you haven't come back, table's flipped, and now they're panicking, trying to work out how to fix it before more time passes. But it's already too late. They've already left it too long. It feels to me like they were hoping that you would come back and take responsibility for something you didn't do, or for something that wasn't some sort of beef or something, some sort of issue, that they could basically put the issue onto you. So it's almost like you walked away from them, but in their heads they were walking. It wasn't so much that they were walking away from you, it was a case of, oh, just let them get on with it, let them throw their toys out their pram. They're realising now you're not throwing your toys out your pram, that you're dead serious and you're not taking responsibility for something you didn't do, and they know you didn't do it. They know you didn't do it, and they still tried to make you take accountability for something that you didn't do. Fall in line. I'm hearing you fall in line. You want to be part of this family. You want to be part of this group. You fall in line. You keep your mouth shut. You don't point out the problems. We brush the problems under the carpet, or whoever speaks up about it has to take responsibility for the problem. You are the problem. And you refused. But they didn't know this about you. They didn't know who you were and who you are. And it feels to me that they didn't really know anything about you other than what was being fed to them by someone else who claimed to know you. But what they were doing was twisting who you were into someone you're not. But now this person or this group are panicking because it's gone on longer than they expected it to, and you're still saying nothing. It's like they're realising they need you more than you need them, that you are self-sufficient without them. You don't need them. So they may have been telling everybody, someone may have been telling someone that you were like codependent on them, and actually you're not. You're doing fine without them. And actually they're seeing that you're doing really well without them. You're like, there's something to do with the way you look. Okay? You don't look like they expected you to look. They expected you to look worn out, haggard, really stressed and down and depressed without them. And they're not seeing that. Someone's not seeing that. And it's making them question everything. It's making them question what they've said, what they've done, what they've heard, their actions, their lack of actions, who they were supporting. It feels to me like the tables have turned, and the cracks are starting to show within this people or this group, and they may even be turning on each other. Because I'm hearing something about who did this, who did that. Like someone's trying to figure out what the truth is and why you have actually walked away But they know why. They know why you've walked away. Somebody knows. Somebody knows what was done to you. They know exactly what was done to you. We have Omega Dragon, harness the divine feminine power of creation. It says intention, hold your vision, birth the higher consciousness. Absolutely, they did not understand your ability to tap into your intuition and see things from a higher perspective, to transmute and work through what was going on. You may be a divine feminine, or you may just be that you carry more of divine feminine energy. Okay, so it's just the energy, okay, the feminine energy. You're just really tapped into your feminine energy. They underestimated your ability to transmute everything into your, like, all your weaknesses, or like everything that you go through. Like, there's something to do that with the way you, like, this energy could be like a rebirth. You're constantly changing, you're constantly evolving. Somebody is confused by you. They don't really know who you are, and that's because you're constantly changing and evolving. You're constantly moving to the next stage. You're constantly working on yourself and ascending. We have Golden Orange Dragon, expands your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior, help those in need, remember you're magnificent. Yeah, they underestimated that you knew that you would see what they were doing from a higher perspective and transmute that to ascend. Everything they did pushed you further into ascension. It's actually put you further on your path. Like, and I'm being drawn to this book and all the papers flying around, and I'm hearing something to do with, oh, I'm hearing not my first rodeo. Like, you taking all the knowledge and wisdom that you'd been through some sort of experience like this before, that this group wasn't aware of. Somebody definitely in this group knew more than they were letting on. Possibly more about you than they were letting on, and what you'd been through. But they overestimated themselves and your ability to see through them, to work out what they were doing. They didn't have enough knowledge and information about you. We have Earth and Air Dragon, represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and dreams. Yeah. Somebody's really realizing just how grounded, how emotionally mature you actually are, that you weren't throwing your toys out the pram. This feels very, very similar energy to a previous reading I've done. Very, very similar energy. I'm being really drawn to the blue, because there are different colours in this deck. We've got purple, magenta, orange. I think there's green as well. See some green in there. There's something to do with your voice, the throat chakra, the way you speak, the way, there's something to do with the way you take what you've been through and you use it to be a voice for others. And I feel like somebody's actually really inspired by that. I was debating just now whether or not to stop this reading, because it feels very similar to a different reading I've done, but I'm actually going to go with it. So I apologise if it is the same message, but then that's just a sign that whoever this message is for isn't actually receiving the messages that they need to be receiving. Because Spirit will repeat messages until the message has been, like the penny drops, the message has been received. The penny dropping could be significant. The penny's dropping for these people. There's something about your voice. Somebody is inspired. So right, okay, so the tables are flipped, yeah? This group that came up against you, someone within this group or the whole group, their perspective of you is changing. And they're inspired. They've got new information about you. They have new information on you about things that you've gone through in your life. The truth about you is coming out. The truth about you is coming out. So somebody twisted what you'd been through into something that it wasn't, okay? And they rewrote your story. Somebody is putting the record straight. Somebody who knows you and knows what you've been through is putting the record straight. Somebody is standing up for you. Somebody has listened to somebody else's story and got about you and gone, that's bullshit. That's not what happened. This may be somebody that was there when something happened to you, or it may be somebody that you confided in. Or it may be somebody that just knows what happens, okay? Somebody knows the truth about something you've been through or things that you've been through and who you are. And they're putting the record straight. They're putting the record straight. But the thing is, they're not putting the record straight. So whoever this is that was lying about you and twisting who you were, twisting what the things you've been through into something that they weren't. I'm hearing seedy. Whoever twisted them doesn't know fully that the group that they were trying to turn against you is being told the truth. Does that make sense? The person who instigated the attack and tried to turn everyone against you is panicking because on some level they know something's shifting because this group is acting off towards them. This group has got more information or is gathering more information about who you really are and just how much this other person distorted about you. This group that went up and attacked you is now inspired by you. So it may be that this instigator is finding out that things are changing and that they're about to be found out for lying, because I can see a person continuing to try and put dirt on your name, continuing to try and twist things, and somebody particular or this whole group just going, what's your problem with them? Why are you continuing to do that? They're not even around anymore. What is your issue? This group that came up against you is now defending you because they have more knowledge. They have more knowledge about something, either something in particular you went through or just how much you've been through. It's either something you went through in your life that was just awful. And they're looking, going, there's no way I would ever have got through that. And as I'm talking about it, I can feel my heart chakra going, and I'm starting to well up. I feel really emotional about it, okay? Or there's lots of different things that you've been through for such a long time, and someone's going like, shit, do you know what? They deserve to be happy. So they're turning around to this instigator now and saying, what is your problem? Just let them be happy. As long as they're happy, that's all that matters. What is your problem? What is your problem with the collective? What is your problem with this person? Why do you have to keep throwing dirt on their name? Why do you have to keep, my candle has gone out, why do you have to keep trying to dim their light just to make yourself feel better? What's your problem? Because they're not out here slagging you off. They're not out here trying to throw dirt on your name. They're just minding their own business. They're just staying in their own lane, doing their own thing, minding their own business. Yeah, they may have spoken up about what you did to them, or the experience they were having with you, but they're not actually slagging you off. They're not saying you're a horrible person. They're just saying they had a bad experience with you. So what is your problem? Somebody's calling this person out, and I can see them being like, looking around this group like, oh shit, you're all supposed to be like defending me. You're supposed to be on my side. This group is switching sides and realising they were fed a false narrative about who you are, that they picked the wrong side. They picked this person, took it for gospel that they were telling the truth because of who they are to them. It may be that they've had a deeper relationship with them, a longer relationship with them. Maybe they didn't know you so well. It does feel that way, that they didn't really know you that well. But they're realising that they picked the wrong team. But ultimately, it wasn't really about picking sides. It wasn't about picking sides or picking a team. It was just about standing up and doing the right thing. And part of that should have been them getting more information about what was going on. They didn't get your side of the story, right? They didn't get your side of the story. They didn't get to know you. They didn't find out more information about you. They made a judgment based on what this person was telling them. That's not standing in your truth and integrity, okay? They know that this person was bullying you on some level, or they were doing wrong against you, and they stood by and let it happen. They did not stand in their truth and integrity. It does not matter who you are, what your title is to a person, what your relationship to that person is. You stand up for someone who's being wronged. You stand in your truth and integrity. And this group is starting to realise that you weren't attacking this person. This person felt attacked because they were guilty. They were guilty, but your silence, like, has someone's... So this group's all turning on this instigator, and this instigator wants a second chance with you so that they can throw you under the bus. So that they can confirm that everything they were telling this group is correct. Basically, they want to just twist things even more. They just want to save their own skin. But it's too late, okay? We have the Eight of Swords and the Fool, yeah. This group are in their heads. There's a lot of guilt and remorse for not getting more information. But the instigator is also trapped in their own thoughts. They're starting to feel really embarrassed and ashamed because they're getting caught out. They're trying to save face. They want to come back in. They want you to give them a second chance because they're trying to save face. They're going to come back in what you decide to do is completely up to you, but they want to come back in to throw you under the bus, to save themselves from their own karma. Spirit are not going to allow it. Spirit are saying no. However, you do have free will. So if you choose to let this person back in, that is up to you. But I would say use your discernment, be very, very mindful, because potentially the same thing's going to happen again. Okay? This group and this person are experiencing, to some degree, it's going to be different for each of them depending on their level of involvement. They're experiencing what they put you through, the being trapped in your head, the intrusive thoughts, being like going over the what ifs, how can we do this differently, what am I doing, all of that, for putting you in your head and making you doubt. Okay, they're all now being faced with the same thing. Okay, but they're totally inspired by you now. Like, I genuinely think it's been too long for anyone within this group to come back in. We have the star over the Omega Dragon, which was about harnessing the divine feminine energy, power of creation. You're healed now. Like, but I feel even though they're now realising that they had you wrong this whole time and that they were misled, it's too late now to, like, they can apologise all they want. That's fine. You don't need the closure. You've done the healing. You don't need the closure. You've let go. It feels to me like she's pouring the water out. You've let go of that apology. You've released them. You've released the emotions attached to them. So they may feel like on some level you've gone cold towards them, but it's because you've emotionally detached. Like, it's not that you don't care about people. You wouldn't wish ill on these people. You just don't feel the need to, how can I explain it? Like, when you get to a point with people where you just have enough, you just detach, not out of anger, resentfulness, or anything like that, purely because you just don't want to, hang around in that energy. You don't want to stay stuck and stagnant. You want to move forward. You want to move forward through the forgiveness. On some level, you've already forgiven them, but that doesn't mean you have to allow them access back into your life. And that's where I'm going with that. They can apologise all they want. Apology accepted, access denied. Because unless sorry means nothing without changed actions. Okay, and if they're going to say sorry and continue to do the same things again, they're not truly sorry. Okay, and then the cycle's just going to play out again, and the same thing's going to happen, and it will keep happening until somebody learns their lesson. Okay, and I feel like you have learnt your lesson, and that's why you're not going to allow them back in. I don't genuinely feel like you're going to let them back in. I'm hoping that they use you, like, this group feels very inspired by you. They feel very humble because of what you've been through, and I'm just praying for their healing, that they can use your light, your inspiration to do better. Okay, to ascend, to heal, to take the knowledge and information they have now about the situation and what they could have done better, and move forward with that, so that if a situation arises again, that they change, they make different choices, that they make more conscious choices going forward. This instigator though is going to try and come back in. They're going to try it. They're going to try come back in, and they're going to try and say that they've healed. They haven't. They haven't healed. They're just trying to tell you the right words. They may use spiritual terminology, okay, that they've done their shadow work, and they're healed. They've healed this part of them. They're really sorry, purely because they want to get back into your energy, because they're hoping that that will free them from their karma, and it's a plot and a plan to throw you under the bus, so that they can go back to this group and say, see, I was right. It is my side that you should be taking, not theirs. But it just feels, you're going to know. You're going to know straight up that they're lying to you. Let's get some more clarification on this energy, please. They were too slow. I don't want to say they were too slow, but they were too slow, okay, in realising that they effed up. We have temperance, patience. As I'm talking about being slow, out comes temperance, which is about patience. Temperance is also about, well, it's given me the energy of protection, Archangel Michael. They're realising how protected you are. They're realising that you're divinely protected. They may have laughed about this. Oh, they thought you were delusional. They thought you were delusional, like you had, no disrespect to anyone, they thought you had, like, that does have schizophrenia, but they thought you had schizophrenia. They thought you had schizophrenia or bipolar or something like that, that you were just delusional on some level, that you had a mental illness. There's nothing wrong with you if you do have a mental illness. But these people, oh, that's really sad. They were laughing at you behind your back because this instigator convinced them that you have a mental illness, that you're delusional, that you have, like, bipolar personality disorder, or schizophrenia. You have spiritual gifts that you can hear people's conversations. You have telepathy, okay? You have telepathy, and you can hear people's thoughts. You have visions as well, and you hear messages from the divine. You get downloads and things. Somebody twisted that into saying that you had schizophrenia, and this group laughed about it behind your back because you were going on about how divinely protected you are, and they mocked you for this. And do you know what? That's really sad and really cruel for two reasons. Well, and the main reason is because when you mock and shame one person for being a particular way or believing they're a particular way, you're also mocking other people. So in mocking you, the collective, they're mocking people with schizophrenia, they're mocking people with bipolar disorder, they're mocking people with mental illness, and that is, quite frankly, that's disturbing. That's awful. There's a lack of empathy in that. I'm fumbling over my words because I can't get over how, especially in this day and age, mocking someone for a medical condition, That's just wrong. That's just wrong. But they didn't stand. Nobody in this group at the time saw that as wrong. That's really concerning, that not one person in this group thought that mocking someone and shaming someone for what they believed was schizophrenia or BPD or some sort of mental illness was wrong. No wonder you cut yourself off. I wouldn't want to be associated with this kind of people. Okay? I just wouldn't. That's awful. The thing is, I don't even feel like you actually have a medical diagnosis for schizophrenia or BPD. And these people definitely aren't medical professionals to be out there diagnosing people. But again, joke's on them, because they're now realising you actually are spiritually protected, that you are divinely protected, and you are who you say you are. There's something to do with mocking your spiritual abilities. They didn't realise that you were psychic. They do realise you're psychic now. Something you said or something you did, something you said would happen as a consequence, they didn't take seriously. They're taking it seriously now and realising because of it that you actually are psychic. So this instigator could have tried to make out that you weren't actually psychic and that you were a fraud. I was about to say social media and the Knight of Swords has come out. Could be something that you put on social media, okay? And I do include YouTube and Rumble in all that, okay? We have the Knight of Swords. Somebody didn't have enough information and ran with it. And somebody else withheld information. This group didn't have enough patience. Temperance is also about timing. Somebody didn't have the patience to take the time to get to know you. It was just quicker and easier to believe what this other person was telling them. And they're now wishing that they had taken the time to get to know you. And I'm being really drawn to these cups. They're realising that you're a really patient person, right? That's evident in the fact that you're still not talking to them, okay? That you are incredibly patient. You may be a Taurus. You may be an earth sign, okay? You may be specifically Taurus. You don't have to be. But Taurus are known for their patience. And they are known for taking a long time to make a decision, okay? But once they make a decision, they stand on it, right? And that's the energy. You don't have to be a Taurus. You could have Taurus in your chart, okay? Or that could just be the energy that this message is giving off, okay? Try not to attach to star signs, okay? Because a lot of people only look at their sun sign. But you might have Taurus in your moon, your rising, in your ascendant, all of that, okay? In your Mercury. So if you are going to go into the star sign route, I would advise that you get a birth chart done, either professionally or you can go online and get a free one, okay? But there's something to do with pouring from one cup to the other. They're realising you're really patient with people. You give people space and time. You hold space for people. You give them time and energy you give them the space to be who they really are, okay? There's something to do I can see writing, okay, and I can see a platform, and there's something to it. Now, this communication doesn't have to be written. It could be verbal communication, okay? It could be electronic. It could be a letter. But there is something to do with social media specifically where you made it clear who you are and what you stand on. That you're in something to do that you made it clear that you're incredibly patient with people. You're there to help people. You're there to be of service to others. You're there to support. But if somebody's projecting at you, you're going to take your energy back. If you've done something wrong, you're going to stand on it and you're going to take accountability, and you're going to try and work through it with whoever it is to make things right, so that things can be built on a firm foundation. But if somebody is going to project at you when you've done nothing wrong, or if somebody is going to like hold it over your head when you do apologize and try to make things right and take accountability, then you're going to take a step back from those people. Because you're then dealing with the unhealed version of people. You're dealing with a version of people that in that energy you can't move forward with. But there is something about people understanding that you're going to fill your own cup first. You're going to give to the overflow. So if you do disconnect, it's because you're filling your own cup. And then you're going to come back and you're going to give from the overflow, okay? Because that's healthy boundaries. But there's also something about not, like when someone's projecting at you, you're going to disconnect from them. So there's something about them realizing that you walk away from connections that aren't balanced, that aren't reciprocal, that you cannot grow and ascend with. That is something that this instigator either twisted or kept back from them. And it may be that you spoke on that and they mocked you and shamed you for that, or twisted it into, oh, you think you're better than everyone. But now they're realizing, because you are standing 10 toes down and you are not returning to this group, that you're refusing to be held accountable by this group for something you didn't do, and they know damn well you didn't do, to protect their peace. They're realizing that you've been through so much, and they're understanding why you have the boundaries that you have and why you disconnect from people like you do and as quick as you do. How you're so quick to cut people off. You will give people chances. You're very, very patient. You'll give people a couple of chances, but then done. No more. How you're patient. You give people warnings, not to get them to do what you want to do, but just to let them know, because you know that they have free will to continue to behave how they're behaving, but to give them, to warn them and say, look, that's fine. If you want to continue to behave that way, if you don't want to grow and ascend and work through this and be mature about this, then I'm going to have no choice but to, love you from a distance. They're now respecting that, where they didn't respect it before. They just thought you were being controlling, manipulative, because they were seeing you through their unhealed wounds. They were seeing you through the eyes of this instigator, of this person that was trying to portray you to be something that you're not. All right? And they feel very, very foolish for the games that they played, the mind games that they played. And they're realizing that they coulda, shoulda, woulda taken different actions towards you. And that actually their life probably would have benefited by you being around. Unfortunately, they had to find out the hard way, because they weren't willing to make choices through love. They were making choices through fear and ego, and they effed around and they found out the hard way. And now it's too late for them, the Chariot. They're now understanding, they have absolutely no doubt in their mind that you are divinely guided and that you are divinely protected. There's no doubt in their mind that you are in fact exactly who you say you are. But there is somebody outside of this group that has stood up for you, and it feels like someone that you know. It feels like someone you know, or someone that knows you, or knows what you've been through, that also knows this group. But I also feel that the person who it is sticking up for you is someone that you're also not connected to anymore. It may also be somebody else that you've walked away from, who had to find out the hard way and is now using their knowledge and wisdom about your connection with them to explain to them that, you know, I effed around, I found out they're not who I thought they were and I was wrong. You know, we have the Tower. Cracks are starting to appear. Cracks are starting to appear. We have 8 of Coins. Cracks are starting to appear because time's run out. The time's run out. There is no more time. I'm just going to clarify this Tower. I feel like I need to clarify the Tower. King of Coins. And we have the World on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, the cracks are starting to appear because they're realising they put their loyalty in the wrong place. And that you are abundant without them. That you don't need them. That they placed their loyalty in the hands of someone they shouldn't. This King of Coins with the White Rabbit, I'm late for a very important date from Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland could be specific, or the White Rabbit. Excuse me. Rabbit hole. This group has gone down the rabbit hole of you, the collective. They've gone down the rabbit hole to find out the truth, or someone is going down the rabbit hole to find out the truth. Someone's going down the rabbit hole. They've either gone down the rabbit hole. I feel like they've gone down the rabbit hole to find out who you really are. And now they're going down the rabbit hole trying to find out the truth of what actually went on between you and this instigator and why they felt the need to lie about you. They may be confronting this instigator and forcing this instigator to look in the mirror and be honest with them about what the issue is. Okay, let's get some more information about how to move forward with this situation, or anything else Spirit wants us to know. We have Sage, be devoted and committed. With the peacock feather, that's giving protection, okay? So more confirmation of you being spiritually protected, and that you are a psychic. You do have, your intuition is on point. The arrow, surround yourself with protective energy. This is just more confirmation of them realizing that you are protected and just how protected you are, okay? It may be that this group tried to do something specific towards you and it didn't pay out or plan out in the way they wanted it to. And then because of that, it resulted in them realizing how protected you are, because it's something to do with you shouldn't have survived it. There was something that you shouldn't have survived. It may just have been their So for some of you, this is literally, you shouldn't have survived, if you catch my drift. So someone or this group did something specific, possibly with moon magic or some form of dark magic, that you shouldn't have survived. Okay, that is not for everyone. If it's creating fear within you, that is not for you. Others of you, it's purely their smear campaign, the attacks, and they may have even outrightly called you crazy, to someone else. It feels to me like they may have attacked you through someone else. Like they spoke about you to someone else so that it would get back to you, and something about you shouldn't have overcome it. This feels like this group, because there's something about you being, something about you knowing this group were going to turn on you, and they, or this instigator, ran with that in, oh, they're really worried what they think about them, they need validation from this group, therefore I'm going to twist this group against them. But you didn't give a shit. You realized, because it was a lie, what they were doing was, it was a lie. Everything they were saying and doing and accusing you of was a lie, and you knew it was, and you were able to overcome that because of your strength and your belief in the divine having your back and that the truth would be revealed, but also your strength and truth and belief in who you were at your core. Your strength and your faith and your knowledge and about who you are outweighed their smear campaign, and somebody, or this either this instigator or this whole group, I do feel like it was the whole group, because like I said, someone, at least one or all of them, knew that you were innocent and they went after you anyway. But this feels like a pattern that this group goes through. This isn't the first time they've attacked somebody, but in the past it has worked. People have crumbled under them. They've maybe been able to get control over people, or they've maybe managed to get people to walk away from them. You didn't. You stood your ground, and there's something about you putting them in their place, you humbling them. Just by doing that, just by you standing your ground and not giving in, you humbled them. Like, it's almost like you are the only person who's ever had the courage to stand up to them. And there was like one of you, I mean, I'm not saying you didn't have other people that were supporting you, like, that you were aware of, but at the time it was you against them, because they were convinced that they'd be able to turn whoever was on your side against you anyway, because they've been able to do this to other people in the past, but they couldn't do it with you. And they're realizing that they couldn't do it with you because you're not like other people, okay? You're not of this world. There's something different about you, something unique that they've never come across before, and they didn't, I wouldn't say it's like they didn't see it. They knew there was something different about you, but they couldn't, they were too cocky to think that they could stamp that out. But it didn't work. And there's something about how you shouldn't have been able to overcome their bullying, their attacks, their mocking, their shaming, their humiliation rituals. Even if it wasn't a literal ritual, just trying to embarrass someone in front of friends or family, that's a humiliation ritual. Okay? They tried to embarrass you and it didn't work. Right? We have on the bottom of the deck, we have Lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. Yeah, just continue to stay strong, stay grounded, stay firm in your beliefs, but obviously flexible to other people's. Trust, continue to have trust and have faith in who you are. Stand your ground with regards to this group and these people. Knowing that you are divinely protected and that you're on the right path. This arrow is shooting straight ahead. You are on the right path. You're on the right trajectory. We have she-wolf, unleash the wolf wild. Sorry, she-wolf, unleash the wild within. You are not like them. You walk to the beat of your own drum. You don't follow the crowd. You do what's right for you, and you don't care what other people have got to say about you. Okay, you don't go out of your way to upset others, but you know you're like Marmite. Whatever you do is gonna upset someone. Some people will love it, some people will hate it. So to start off with, this group hated it. Now the tables are flipped and they're actually inspired by it, and somebody's really realizing just how strong you are. There's something to do with them realizing just how strong you are. Like, it's almost like you haven't gone out of your way to prove yourself to them, or to prove yourself to them so that you get a seat at the table, so that you can be included in this group. But it's almost like you're not going out of your way for their validation. You don't need that, but you've got it. You've got their validation. I'm hearing, oh yeah, you're one of us now. You're one of us. No, I don't want to be one of you. That's what you're saying. No, I don't want to be one of you. I don't want to be part of a group of people that bullies someone into submission just to control them because they don't want to face their own wounds, their own toxic behaviours. No. With the wolf, that's about leading with your intuition. You're like the leader of the pack, so to speak. You don't need to sit at the tables of people that bully others to get what they want, to use others to get what they want out of them. You're going to sit at the table. In fact, you're going to have your own table. But the people that come to that table, you will have the people at that table. God will provide, God, source, universe, creation, whoever, will give you a table of people that are not necessarily hold the same beliefs with you with regards to world stuff or anything like that, but they'll have the same morals about how you treat others. And if there's something that you disagree with, you can have a friendly debate. And you will be able to move through any conflicts with love and from a place of growth and understanding each other and other people's perspectives and respecting that. It will be a table of people that don't need to dim. In fact, you won't necessarily see yourself as a leader. You'll see yourself as an equal. You'll be the head of the table, but you won't see yourself as having power over others. Does that make sense? With a wolf pack, you have I don't know if they have one specific leader, but I know that the younger wolves, as the other wolves get older, they will walk behind the older wolves for protection. They will protect them, right? There's something about that protective energy, like the leader of a pack, that he guides. A true leader doesn't lead by having power over others. They guide. They're in place to be that voice for others, but they don't. It's I can't explain it. I can't find the right words to explain what I mean, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Yes, you'll be a leader, but a true leader guides. He doesn't put himself or herself above his people. I'm seeing an Indian chief. Like, so the people will go to the chief for guidance, but they will be left to do things the way they feel that they need to do them, but in a community of people that are going to step up and support them should they need that support and guidance. Does that make sense? Like, you'll be free to be who you are, and you'll allow other people the freedom to be who they are, understanding that everybody has different experiences. We all came here with different lessons to learn, and we have to experience things in different ways, okay? But knowing just it will be coming from a place of people that want to learn and grow through love, not fear. Does that make sense? Let's get some affirmations and close this reading out. I am ready for something bigger, better and brighter. Absolutely. Something like you're ascending, you're on a new path, and these people haven't ascended enough to come with you anyway. Like, but they're going to try and ride your coattails. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. Yeah, you let go. You released them. You released the need for closure. You released the need for the apology. I'm also getting from this, I am ready for something bigger, better and brighter, them realising that there's much more to you than they first thought, okay? I gather more wisdom each day. They're realising just how wise you are, just how much knowledge and wisdom that you hold, and how you use that to help others, okay? That you are a true leader, and that you could have been that for them had they gone down a different route. Had they dug deeper at the time and perhaps come to you and sat down and sorted things out, tried to resolve the conflict at the time, they're realizing that you would have been an asset to them, that you were a gift that was given to them, that they were given access to the divine through you that could have assisted them with their soul growth and ascension and moving through life, and they rejected it. I am connected to the earth and all of life around me. Yeah, you understand that everybody's connected and that everybody has different journeys, everybody has different soul lessons, everybody needs to do their thing. You don't judge, you don't shame, and this group didn't realise that about you, that you are someone who doesn't judge and shame others. They thought you were being judgmental and shaming others in a way, but what you were doing was actually illuminating their wounds and illuminating what needed healing within them, but they just didn't see it that way. That you were trying to come from a place of love and speaking on things to expose what wasn't working so that things could be rebuilt on a firm foundation, and they rejected that. And the spirit are saying no. No access. You were given access, you took it for granted. You can't, just because you're realising what you've missed out on and that there was an opportunity there for this, doesn't mean that they won't be given that opportunity again, potentially with you, but possibly with someone else. But it's a case of looking a gift horse in the mouth and basically only appreciating what you were, what you could have, what you brought to the table after it's gone. But not necessarily, the reason they're not being granted access is because they're not wanting access for the right reasons. And spirit are not going to allow anyone to take advantage of you or the gifts that they've bestowed upon you. They're going to, and this is what I think I was coming to with the table, spirit are going to gift you the people that they believe, that they know have pure intentions towards you, the people that are going to want access to your knowledge and wisdom, because they respect you, but they're also going to respect that when you can't give them that knowledge and wisdom because you need to replenish your own cup, they're going to respect that. They're going to take a step back and say to you, take all the time you need, let me know when you're ready, and we can, if you feel up to it, we can tap into that knowledge and wisdom, and I can get the guidance from you that I need. But they're also going to be there to guide you, and they're also going to be there to support you when you need guidance and support. So they're going to be mutual relationships, you know, not just romantic, but platonic, friends, family, co-workers. You're going to be placed in environments that actually support your growth, and that when you need to heal, you'll have, what I'm seeing is when you're because you will have times when you're going through something that makes you feel vulnerable, okay? You're going to go through those times differently because you're going to be coming from a place of love, and you'll go through them potentially quite a lot quicker. But what people are going to do, what I'm seeing is somebody feeling really vulnerable, but a group of people surrounding that person so that they can take time out to move through whatever it is they're going through, not necessarily with active involvement from the others, but just that protection of, no, you're not going to have access to them, they need time to heal, they need time to go through anything. You're going to have a group of people that are going to stop. They're going to be like physical manifestations of spirit's protection. You're going to have people that will stop other people, like bodyguards, having access to you, that are just going to use you or are not respecting your boundaries. You're going to build a community of people, but you're all going to do that for each other. So whoever needs to heal, whoever's going through something, whoever's feeling vulnerable or doing their shadow work, you're all going to come together as a community to protect that person, whether it be an adult, a child, whether it be an animal. You're going to come together as a community and protect that person like a tribe. That's how I imagine. I don't know a lot about tribes and how they work, but that's how I see tribal people, that as a community, like, there's no, oh, it's me, there's no this self-preservation. It's for the good of the community, because if one is fallen, you all fall, right? That's how I see it. So there's, as much as you will be like the head of the community, you'll govern in a way that's different to how the world is currently governed. And like, you won't be seen as a leader, that if you're seen as you're having a bad day or you're going through something, your community won't see you as weak. They'll be like, right, we need to step up for this person. They've been there for us. They've been giving us this guidance and this healing. Now we need to pay that back. And then it will be like that for each and every person within that tribe. Does that make sense? I'm going to leave it here. I really hope that helped. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Namaste.